Um, in the meantime, I was also referred by one of the organization for domestic violence to a different talking therapy. It was a good man named I can't remember. I think his name was Neil, and he was good talking to him. Um, we had I think like 4 or 5 sessions. It was like weekly sessions, but it was more about generalization of how my life has been and how strong I am to continue doing all this. And I think it was more like a template that
Mm.
it was prepared and been done for how many years with the other male survivors of domestic violence and abusive relationship. It was just like a praise me for what I've been done through coming here as an immigrant. I was too young. I was homeless, and I continued to learn the language, learn the culture all by myself while I provided help back to my family in Iraq, and how I went through all this and many other things that I've been through as I was telling. It felt good telling the story. It
Mm.
felt good to for him to locate of how brave and how strong I have been over the years and through this process, that the recent process that I've been going through. But then as soon as the talking therapy was finished, I had nothing. I had nothing to use to overcome of what's going on and what's happening in my head. I had no blueprint. I have no instructions. I have nothing to use. And that therapy, I actually ended it because we had enough of talking about my history and being praised.
Mm.
So I ended it by I think I ended the last session of that. I said I just don't feel like to talk anymore. I think we're done in here.
Mm.
I thought that this is it. This is how it is. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Talking therapy, it's not going to work. It's generalized, not really particularly tailored to my situation and tailored to what I'm capable of. And then you guys came in, it popped up again. I was contacted to do a therapy, and I was skeptical, to be honest. I was thinking, okay,
Yeah.
this is going to be another talking therapy, same as the
Mm.
one I did. It's going to be generalized. I have to talk about the problems over and over again, which doesn't really help me to go through all this. And at the end, I'm not going to end up with anything. And I think I said, okay, but I'll give it a go,
Mm.
to see what happens. And, it's there. I started to speak with Aisha. Um, Now, the first one was more about me talking about my history, talking about the things I've done in my life and the recent things that happened. And Aisha was just listening. She was just
Mm.
listening and just make a couple of comments, in support of my story. And then came the second session. This
Mm.
was life changing for me, not just for this situation, not just particularly for what I'm being through as a domestic violence victim, but it was life changing for me of how to deal with things, how to deal with intrusive thoughts that comes to mind, and how to deal with that. So at that time, Aisha came up with this thing that what I think she tailored it to me. What I'm capable as a person? How can I deal with this as me, not as in general guy, a male who's a domestic abuse victim? And then Aisha came up with this fantastic, tailored, very simple, but very effective way of me how to deal with this mess that comes with
Mm.
me, especially at night. And she said, look, so I said, she keeps coming, my ex-wife keep coming back to my head. She pops up while I was washing dishes, especially when I'm on my own, when the kids in school, when I'm sitting down, even when I watch TV, she keeps popping up, and that's very disturbing. And I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to control it. And she said, "Okay, I want you to visualize yourself as a small person in your brain." And that for me was very easy. Asian training, so I can do that. And she said, "You in your brain, little you in your brain, and there is thousands of folders. Some of them important are the front, those important folders, which is your kids, your life, your job, etc. It's right in the front. Those are the ones should be given priority to be accessed. And those ones which are not important at all, it's a really at the back of the back of the back of your head in drawers, you know. So she said, whenever she comes up to your mind, that's when you tell your little you to grab that folder and visualize it and take it to the back drawers right at the back, and you say, you stay there, you do not come out. So I said, okay. And yeah, I was a little bit skeptical of how this going to work as we were having the session. But then I said, okay, I can do that. And so the session's finished, and I was curious. And I said, let me try this. This sounds like it's very tailored to me. It's very personal. It's to do with something that I already know how to use. And it's a plan. It's a plan to work on. It's a practical plan to work on, not just a general breathe in and breathe out and go for a walk. And these things I already know. I've been knowing this for decades. These things are just generalized, but this one was specifically to attack that intrusive thought that my ex-wife, the abuser, coming back into my front of my head, and I remember things, and that's really not helping. So I started doing that. I was on my own. I remember I was on my own in a bedroom when I put the kids to sleep, and then it started. It was almost like every night it was the same time. It came back. And then I did it. I visualized it myself in this very dark, big place full of thousands and thousands of folders. And I started organizing, and I just say, okay, this goes back, this goes back. No, you're not coming. And then it was almost like a magic. It worked. And I got rid of that straight away within seconds. I didn't even try hard. The visualization, me being in my own head and organizing and drawing lines for what comes to my mind and what folders and what thoughts and what people, what situation is being given priority and what is not being given priority and what is not given access at all. So I put them all of it to the back to access, no access at all. You go to the back, I lock you in that folder, and you're gonna shrink, you're gonna destroy yourself on your own because I'm not giving you access. I'm not giving you access to my current being anytime in the future. That it was fantastic. I was taking medication for sleeping. It was more like a medication for help me out with the situation. A little bit for sleeping, a little bit for depression and whatnot. And then after almost days, I felt completely different. I was waking up more energetic, and I was using that even during the day while I was watching this. Something comes up, and and any folder I put back, it never came back. Any new ones, it was popping up. It was from the mess, the pile up folders, but the visualization helped perfectly. It was like an execution. It was so good, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy I gave it a chance because I nearly did not give it a chance.
Yeah. What was the breaking point for you? What was it when you said, you know what, enough's enough?
I'll be honest. It wasn't me that said enough was enough. I had a broken ankle, and I was on crutches, and I wanted to go to the hospital, but my ex-wife wouldn't let me go. And I was actually on the phone to my mum, trying to get her to come and take me to the hospital. And my ex-wife hit my ankle with a bat and knocked me off my crutches. And my youngest son was there. I can't remember how old he was, but he would have been about 6 or 7. No, probably maybe 8. And she was hitting my ankle with a bat, and he lay across me to protect me. And in the end, he's dragged me out of the house with him. And we went. My mum had heard all this on the phone,
Mm.
so she phoned the police, and me and my 8-year-old ended up hiding in the bushes outside the house.
Right.
And the police come, and my brother-in-law had come because he lives next door to my mum, so she'd got him to come,
Mm.
and we got in the car and left the house, and I've never been back since. But
Mm.
totally honest, if my mum and brother-in-law hadn't have collected me, I'm
Mm.
not sure I would have left. And then anyway, I'm hopeful I would have now. But
Yeah.
it was the sort of thing that I accepted happened and didn't leave for. So breaking point probably never came.
Mm.
It was my family intervened and sort of saved me and kept me
Mm.
away from her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I sided with my children.
Mm.
And I didn't give a statement. And in hindsight, I regret it. I probably should have. It would
Mm.
have got things dealt with properly. The problems that are ongoing and have been ongoing for 3 or 4 years
Mm.
probably would have ceased if
Mm.
if I had told the police what had been going on and what had happened. But it's very difficult when your children are there crying, saying, "Please don't get mum arrested, please, please."
Mm.
It's
Mm.
very hard not to listen to them.
So when they said to you, right, you have to go to this organization, what was your thoughts about that?
I thought, well, I'll just tick the box. I'll turn up. It's going to be no benefit to me.
Mm.
What's the point? Maybe the kids will enjoy it. Maybe they'll get some help. But I had no faith in it, and I just thought I was turning up somewhere and nothing will change, and I'll go and do what I've been told to do.
Mm. Right.
It ended up quite different.
So what do you remember of that first meeting, Matt?
I've actually spoke about that first meeting recently
Mm.
with ISA,
Mm.
and I don't remember a single thing about it.
Yeah.
I remember walking to the door.
Mhm.
I remember the build up inside going there. My kids were very reluctant to go. They didn't want to go.
Mm.
And I told them they had to. I didn't want to go. And I told my kids, I don't want to be here either. We're just going to
Mm.
sit here for an hour and it'll be over. Don't worry about it.
Mm.
Um, and then I came in, and honestly, I don't think I could remember hardly anything from the first 6 months of coming here.
Really?
But it obviously was doing something good because I came back. And I don't think I had to
Yeah.
come back in the end.
Yeah, yeah. So, because I've spoke, obviously we've spoken to Aisha, and she she did a silent session,
Yeah.
but you don't remember any of that.
No, no. It's
Yeah.
hilarious because I've spoken to Isa about it,
Mm.
and she said she was asking me questions, and I sat there and just
Mm.
answered them in my head.
Yeah.
But to me, my recollection would be, if anything, that we had a conversation.
Yeah.
I know I was very reluctant to talk when I first came here, and I
Mm.
couldn't talk.
Mm.
I have only in the last year, I'd say, been able to talk about everything that's gone on in my life.
Mm.
Um, and I wouldn't have told Isa many things. So maybe
Mm.
that conversation was very good because I'm answering it in my head, thinking I'm getting it out, uh,
Yeah.
and I still haven't.
Mm.
But
Uh,
it is funny that I don't remember it.
yeah, yeah. And you said you don't really remember much of the first 6 months.
I don't remember. I honestly don't
Yeah.
remember the turning point when
Mm.
I started to open up to Isa. I don't know how long it took. I honestly couldn't tell you. I
Mm.
just know the first few times I was here, I didn't want to be here.
Mm.
Struggled. I didn't want to talk. I was embarrassed of what had happened to me in my life.
Mm.
My
Yeah, yeah.
my ex-wife is 5'1",
Mm.
probably weighs about 9 stone,
Mm.
and I weigh about 16 stone. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sit here, well, actually looking in this picture, it might be 17 stone, but sitting here and saying, yeah, she beat me up. She she'd done some
Mm,
serious damage to me.
mm,
It was embarrassing at the time. I was ashamed that it had happened,
mm.
and I was like, how can I talk and tell people this?
Yeah.
And I think also you got you'd had previous with social service. It's almost like they don't believe you
Mm, yeah.
because they're always thinking it's. I remember the first time the police come to the door when she'd attacked me and I was bleeding.
Mm,
The first thing they did was grab me and pin me up against the wall. And I was like,
yeah.
"Gee, I've not been through enough yet."
Yeah. Yeah.
So you really do. You have massive doubt people will believe you.
Mm,
And I was like, why would this place be any different?
yeah. 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 So, do you remember? Because she probably didn't make you go over the whole story, or am I making an assumption there?
No, definitely not. So
Okay.
I never did we go, never did it say, look, let's start at the beginning, what's happened.
Mm, mm,
I remember it was, it seemed more like we were just chatting,
yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Mm,
It was general snippets of information
mm,
but basically it was, I think it was a very slow process
mm,
to tell Isa everything. I'm not
mm,
sure even now if I've told her everything
mm,
that
yeah.
went on. I think it was a slow process for me to open up.
Mm,
And I can't remember how she managed to get me to open up, which
yeah.
I'm sure would be more helpful if I could remember.
That's all
But
right. I sure will explain it to everyone.
I'm
Yeah.
sure she
Yeah.
will. But it just got to a point where you were more comfortable talking,
Mm,
and it was a slow process for me.
mm,
And I think it was you found someone that actually believed what you were saying,